Okay, this one's not the most complicated, but we have added Moonshadow into Hollow One. Hollow One's a deck that I think is a little bit underrated over the course of the last year and a half. It's done pretty reasonably well. It's weirdly consistent for a deck that's playing Burning Inquiry. Its draws are really similar, and Nethergoyf is a really strong addition to the deck. I remember we updated Hollow One with Nethergoyf a while ago, then it became kind of stock, and I think just kind of transitioning more into this build, a little bit more of a, I don't know if fair build's how you want to call it, but I do think if you're playing Moonshadow and Goyf, you don't want to be playing Rootwalla and Vengevine, and I think you don't want to play Vengevine without Rootwalla. I see a lot of people playing Vengevine with no Rootwallas. In my mind, those are like kind of mandatory to play together. If you're going to play one, you have to play the other. And there's not really room with the Moonshadow. Now we're not playing Mishra's Bauble in this build. I was really trying to play DRC Bauble, but that's also a pretty tight package. I think you have to play Marauding Mako. I do think it's probably still the best one drop, although Moonshadow and Goyf are quite good. Um, and so it's very tight if you're going to try to fit DRC Bobble in here. Still playing a couple Ox of Agonas. I think that's okay, even in combination with the Goyfs. You just fill up the graveyard so much. Cut some number of Goyf. The thing is, I think that's crazy. I think Goyf is just a much better one drop than Cecil in this deck. Like, watch this game. I think we'll keep that. I did switch decks. Yeah, I'm updating the Mox field here. Still in test everything phase, which is just a lot of switching decks. But I feel like I've got something misspelled or I want to move on because we have too much to get to diddle daddle. I think we'll go double Goyf this turn. Opponent might be playing Living End. Yeah, I agree. Cecil is the third best. And so you're still gonna play Cecil in some number, and like it's also legendary too. And then Cecil, I think it also feels like the tension between Cecil and Death Shadow, if you end up playing those, it's like it feels more pronounced to me because you just don't have to be playing them anymore. Watch this. This card is this Burning Inquiry. It looks like we are playing against Living End, so we're gonna hope for some good Burning Inquiries. This matchup can be kind of funny. They graveyard a Living End, so maybe Halo Forager is live for them now. Could maybe have played the Blood Crypt first. I think I'm okay not doing so. This could go really right, or it could go really wrong. Opponent maybe thinking about Force of Negationing. Are there any better tribal spells than Tarfire? No. Kind of the reason like why it's the only one you ever see, right? There just aren't better ones. I try to think if there's any other play. It's like, okay, K-Command is. Twitch.tv, thanks for the 32. Alright, so we have a Hollow One and a Street Wraith in the yard. We did just dump an Endurance, a Formidable Speaker, and a Deceit in their deck over there. If this had found its way into the yard, these would have been 6 power creatures, putting my opponent down real low. We do have lethal next turn. Hopefully they're just on Formidable Speaker this turn, I guess. Alright, so an Endurance, a Speaker, a Deceit, and a Generous End. I like how aggressive the Golgari Hexmage build looks. A lot of beef in here. Yeah, I do think a Patra's Mark is pretty cool with the Battler. I don't know. 4 Hexmage is almost definitely too many. I see you've yet again jammed Urza Saga into the deck. I don't know if that's right. It's just, there's some things about archetypal modern players where like Golgari players are like, I am an Urza Saga deck. I'm gonna value Urza Saga no matter what, no matter what. And maybe it makes sense here because of Hex Parasite. It's just every Golgari midrange deck I've seen over like the last 2-3 years, they're playing value Urza Saga, and value Urza Saga continues to not be all that good. Despite them just jamming it every single time. I think it's so funny. Okay, so we hit the. I think the food token probably actually makes me not want to keep playing. All right, so down a game. Let's bring in the Thoughtseize and the Surgicals. I don't think I want to play the Damping Spheres. They got the Tarfires and then probably a Ox. Ox is kind of interesting to get in the graveyard though. Maybe a Phoenix then. Yeah, Fate Transfer does get kind of cool. Yeah, I do think that there's something here. Fate Transfer having both Moonshadow and Battler does feel like it can be kind of cool. But I think I would just I do think you can play some Hex Mages, but I don't know. I don't really feel like Hex Mages on Moonshadow or Battler is a super good play because you open yourself up to removal a lot. Although maybe that's less true with Battler because you've got Ward. You could also try to look at playing Springheart Nantuko. Nantuko it seems potentially really good with Battler, where you just start to make a bunch of copies of it, and then those copies are removing the counters from each other. Warning Solar System, 17 months. Welcome back. How did Dawnhand look? I feel like I misbuilt the deck to not have enough toughness to compete. Can I keep this hand on the play against Living End? I think I have to mulligan to a hand with Thoughtseize or a way to get stuff in the graveyard. And this hand is that, I guess. Now, do I try to find untap? Yeah, I think I will try to find untap land off the Wraith here. Maybe a little punish because I would like to go Wraith double looting into the hollow ones next turn. I don't know. Good to graveyard the Moonshadow. Just yeah, in this matchup you're definitely trying to like balance your threats while also putting your own stuff in the discard, but then you lose to endurance a lot. Isn't blue black Kaito Tide broken with Moontide now? Golgari players always play Urza Saga. Dimir players are always the most optimistic about their archetype, which I love. I love that y'all really believe in Dimir Kaito. It is broken is certainly not the word I would use. I would also say that Kaito with Moonshadow is a little bit weird, right? Where let's say that you like the card Kaito, that's fine, but it's a little bit weird to play Kaito and Moonshadow together. Where if you're picking up your Moonshadow, you have to redo all the work of getting stuff back in the graveyard. So I would be a little bit discouraged, a little bit wary. Maybe is the word I'd want to use. Yeah, I agree. You can only play a Hex Mage if you have Overlord. But the fact that you've got some other utility for it's nice. Speaking of Overlord, let's say you like the yeah. It's like I don't think that Kaito and Moonshadow have it's nice to have a 1-mana Menace creature in your Kaito deck. But resetting your Moonshadow is also weird. So we'll have to see how that goes, I guess. So I want to discard an Ox. I think I want to discard the Goyf too, just so I can have a really full graveyard, and then let's spin the freaking wheel here too. Okay, I lost both of my hollow ones, but they're not. I also discarded an endurance from my opponent's hand, so maybe that's a win. I wasn't on the draw. I just missed a land drop. They forced some negation my looting. By playing on Thunderburn, yeah, I'll go. How did Asmo Shadow go? It went pretty well. I think we went 3-0 to 3-2, but I thought the deck looked good. It's definitely pretty different from the other builds, and it's not super easy to figure out exactly how it stacks up to this deck and then the more mid-rangey version. But I'll say overall, I liked it. All right, let's go FOMO, discard Phoenix. And then if I draw Thoughtseize, I'll cast Thoughtseize, and if I don't, I'll haste the FOMO. Oh. Well, that's bad news. There's actually 4 new cards in the 16. Actually, there's more than that. We're playing okay, I discarded 2 Shardless Agents. In the elves deck we're playing 3 total proliferate elves, 1 in the main, 2 in the side, and then 2 protection elves, then 1 of the 6/6 draw elf. So the way I could win is finding some copies of Street Wraith to get in the graveyard this turn. They do reveal another copy of Shardless Agent here. I guess somehow if I could get Delirium and double Phoenix, that would be a win, although we would need like a crazy Burning Inquiry or something like that. Or I could just Surgical Extraction Shardless Agent. So they do have a Halo Forager, but they need to get a Living It in the graveyard for that. So this is so the Ox I have to escape 8. Let me see if they want to trade here on accident and like an Ox of Agonas. I think that that's better than bestowing. Because if I bestow, I lose Delirium. Maybe this is 2 face up. What's the oldest modern archetype that's been viable? Tron, Living In, Goryo's. Yeah, that Titan Storm technically goes back to the beginning of modern, although it's very different now. Affinity goes back to the beginning. Like I don't think any of those have not been around since the beginning. Yeah, Twin. Oh no, they graveyard Living End. And then they cast their Curator. So graveyarding the Living End means that they have outs to Living End again if they find their Halo Forager or if they Formidable Speaker for 1. Yeah, so if I go Phoenix, Exile Ox, Surgical, then I still... Oh, I do have Delirium. Maybe we should have done that last turn. Oh, now I can go Goyf, bestow Phoenix on Goyf. So, yeah. I'll have creature, enchantment, sorcery, land. And then I guess they can go ahead, they can chump block the, or they can block the FOMO and then they can chump block the Goyf. I don't think it's going to be that different either way. It's probably a bit better for me to have double FOMO in the yard anyways. Goryo's has only been around as either Esper since JVP or Rakdos since Griselbrand. That's fair. When I started playing, Modern Griselbrand was around. And so I guess I've kind of always known a Modern where Goryo's existed, but that's fair. There's also a bit of Ship of Theseus style discussions we had whether these are the same archetypes as they were. A little bit, but I think, archetypes are a little bit they're bigger, Like Storm is an archetype that spans not just modern other formats, and it's existed in a form, Even though basically all of these decks look different now, I think they are the same archetype in my opinion. All right, on the draw for game 3 of a very weird matchup. Okay, I like having Street Wraith a lot. I like having Thoughtseize and Marauding Mako. Definitely going to keep this one. Jund is still around. It's just Boros now. I see a lot of people comparing Jund to Boros, and I do not get the comparison, honestly. I do not feel like the play pattern of classic Jund and current Boros are similar. Boros is a good deck. Jund has been one since the original ban. Yeah, I mean, I'm even just kind of talking archetypally. I just don't feel like those two decks play in a similar way. Grindy deck that makes guys, but Boros is so different. Yeah, I don't know. They're both money bag decks. I feel like that attitude is a little, I don't know. Is casual the right word? Oh, they get to Thoughtseize my Thoughtseize here, maybe. It's just all the mythics. I mean, Boros has... Is it Johnny a mythic or is it Johnny a rare? I guess I just have no idea what's a mythic and what's a rare. Johnny's probably a mythic, and then Flage is a mythic. Does trigger the shark. They do take the Thoughtseize. Dang, Burning Inquiry is so crazy this matchup. Alright, I think I would like to cast Fear of Missing Out. I think I'd like to discard a Moonshadow. I think that or the Shark is kind of similar, of course. But it seems like we're setting up for lethal next turn. with the Burning Inquiry. So if they living in this turn, we can get back the Street Wraith and the Moonshadow. Then now that we've drawn the Surgical, we can even get rid of the Generous End. We also could let the Living End resolve and then just Surgical Living End. That's probably be a bit better. I think that's going to be what I'd do if they cast Charlotte's Agent here. Flame Knight with the 28 months. Thank you. Welcome back. If they evoke Endurance, I'll probably, or I might change my tone a little bit here. All right, and then I'm going to respond. Oh, I guess they have a blue creature already in play for Flare. But I'm going to do this now because of Flare. I'd rather them sack Deceit than Shardless Agent. And then also this plays around Force. So they did have an Endurance, but they didn't have a green card. I really do need to get a new interface. It's been tough not being able to go to Micro Center. So they attack with the Deceit and the Generous End. Why don't we go ahead and double block? So we'll trade Goyf for Deceit, and then we'll get a counter on the Moonshadow, take 5. The Endurance evoke Endurance. We didn't know they had the green card for Endurance. Maybe this was bad. Maybe we should have played around it. We do get to double grow the Moonshadow though. However, they can sack a food token. My Moonshadow's now a 2/2. And they do have Hardcast Force up. If they do Hardcast Force on the Burning Inquiry, I guess it's possible we get the Moonshadow big enough to kill them anyways. So they might want to pitch Force so they can still crack the food token. The idea of Johnny Goes Boros is each card is individually good, but it's the combination that's busted. Goyf was good, but the combo with Liliana, Bob, Bolt, Thoughtseize was insane. So I guess I disagree on that on Jund. Because for me, it felt... I don't really feel like the Jund cards ever had a lot of synergy together. Like maybe a little bit of overlapping synergy, but Jund, each card, like you would just go interact, and then Liliana, Goyf, or Dark Confidant by themselves could take over the game. But with Boros, each individual threat can take over the game, but they're also insane together. It's like you're trying to assemble Flage Arena, you're trying to assemble a Johnny Bombardment, you're trying to assemble Guide Pride. But like in Jund, you really just need to have any one threat in play at a time, backed up by more interaction. But I see. All right, so they pitch cast the Force, which is wise, I think. So this is just going to mill 3 for them here. And our card is... There we go. This is all pretty bad. So I need to block one of their creatures here in order to live. So I guess we're just going to attack with the Moonshadow. Hit them for 3 down to 4. Chump block, go to 2 ourselves. And then they're going to go to 7. That's going to be so hard to win. Do I double block then? Just no attacks, double block Deceit, go to 2. Might be better. Don't love it. Which Red Black X Moonshadow feels the best? It's pretty early. It's our first match with this one. I thought the normal one was good. I thought the Asthma one was good. We only played 1 league with that. We played a lot more with the normal one. And now we're just getting to this. I think you have to attack with the Moonshadow. I definitely don't think I have to. It seems like it's a big losing line because they're just going to be at 7 life. Like my outs to deal 7 damage the following turn, it's almost impossible. Yeah, Inquiry only ever removes 1 counter from Moonshadow. I think you need to keep the Street Wraith alive. They can leave 2 backers blocked from Moonshadow. I'm thrilled if they're leaving back 2 blockers. I'm really behind on board here. My opponent also drew something, which is bad news. But here I get to trade the Moonshadow for the Deceits. Potentially I could draw Nethergoyf. Potentially I can get Ox of Agonas Escape to just be alive and play a longer game here. It seems super obvious to me how come Consider wasn't any of my Moonshadow brews. I mean, I've only played the I played the Mir and I played the Grixis, but I think I would only play Consider and or Scour if I was playing an Oculus build, which you just haven't gotten around to yet. They're just infinite Moonshadow decks though. Okay, they return Deceit to their hand, which makes sense. The bounce is gonna be really tough to beat. And Hollow One is a big brick. Yeah, escaping. I was dead too if I just escaped the Goyf. Bummer. This Living Index ability to like top deck really relevant cards is so high too. See, I also like Living In is also the kind of deck we need to be back if we want something that polices like the format is like really full of like combo and Boros, and Living In's good against both of those, but it's also very weak to Tron, which we found out yesterday. When we played Living In, we played against Eldrazi twice in a row. You don't think the best was 2026 Twin Mirror the other day? The best of Modern's history? Not quite, but it was pretty good. I had a lot of fun. I am now a play around Mana Tithe gamer instead of play around Dash Ragavan gamer, by the way. What have I become? My sweetest friend. So I think I'm somewhat likely to want to play Fear of Missing Out next turn, so that I'm able to go like Goyf, Looting, and Phoenix all in one turn, with a non-hasty FOMO. A FOMO also seems to block Kin Scare Sentry pretty well. I mean, I guess it could die to like a Flage or could die to a Discharge this turn. That's okay as well. I have not been impressed by Kin Scare Sentry. Also, is it Kin Scarer? I guess there's no R, so it's Kin Scarer? Scare? Kin's Carer. Maybe he just cares for the kin. This card. This card has looked very bad to me so far. It's possible I've just been seeing a weird end of the variance or something, but it has been unimpressive when I've played against it. Is Tithe still that popular? I think Tithe is like it's felt close enough to stock that I just play around it now. Block. Okay. I don't know. I don't know, chat. I don't know about this one. They could have played this pre-combat. Am I muted? Test, 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 test. They do have a Flage in the yard, but thankfully they've got this basic swamp. I guess I need to fill up the yard some. Nice. So we can haste a FOMO with Phoenix next turn. Might board out my Burning Inquiries against the Bowmaster deck. They expect you to block Sentry the Bowmaster? Yeah, I think so too. Are they dead? They should be pretty close to dead. Oh, maybe they're not because they have the ability to double block the FOMO. So if I go haste Phoenix here, maybe I want to Phoenix the FOMO. So Phoenix the FOMO, untap the Goyf. They could also double block here. I guess let's just go ahead and attack with these. And then Tarfire one of the Sentries when they double block. And so they have the mana to escape the Flage, but then we get to attack for 12 at least next turn. And they're going to be at 16. So they're dead if we draw another copy of Fear of Missing Out. I think that's probably the only card that kills them. Is Bitter Reunion a consideration? No, it's just too clunky. You also have 4 Phoenix, so like the haste enabling on it's not that interesting either, I think. So we'll exile a Wraith and an Inquiry. They could possibly chump block and escape the Flage again. It's on the table here. They got one card in their hand, drawing up to 2, and they also have the Sunbait Canyon in play. So we'll Tarfire the Pride, so they don't get a chump blocker for my Goyf. They do still have 2 cards in their hand after this. If they target the hollow one with the Flage, we could maybe assume that they've got Galvanic Discharge. If they target the Nethergoyf, we could maybe assume that they have the Raven Charm. And then there's not a lot we could do about either. They target me, so I guess they have neither. You could top another tie worth holding. It's better to kill the Awesome Pride so they don't get a free chump blocker from my Pride. They literally might just be dead to this. I guess I should wait until they pass priority on the second main phase, though. Okay, they do have a Bowmaster. Oh, sorry. Targeting them was lethal. Sorry about that. Too locked in on denying value, as always. Kek W, I drew another one. Apologize for the bad play to my opponent. All right, let's cut the Burning Inquiries against the Bowmaster deck. Try to use lootings on turn 1 if we can. Probably trim a hollow one. We do have some answers for it too, but I think Burning Inquiry is a bit too weak to Bowmaster. Yeah, it's pretty weak to Bowmaster. Can't really mulligan, I guess. Do you think this is the worst Ragavan? By a lot. It is crazy that Deviant Art sketches made it to to Magic Online. Looks like we're getting bowed. So we could potentially haste the Mako this turn. I think I kind of like this. I kind of like doing this for a couple reasons. Probably can get the mountain also. One thing I like about this is this means they're not going to have a creature that Flage can kill. Another cool trick I could do next turn is I can go play. Also, I do think I want to attack. But one thing I could do next turn is I can go play Goyf, and then I can cycle Hollow One at instant speed to either kill the Voice of Victory, or I can have the Hollow One not die to a Flage, and then they're going to have a Voice of Victory in play. So I imagine they would feel pretty safe and secure, and not think that I have a trick. How was Dawnhand? I think I misspelled the deck, so I decided to shelf it, rebuild. Might need. The thing is, if I hold this back, I can't do my cool trick. Let's do it. Let's play the Goyf. Let's attack. Very hard to play around. They can't respond with discharge because the Hollow One's immediately in the graveyard. Cycle Coward. Well, I'm going to cycle at instant speed. Right? Not main phase. And I think I want to cycle after they sack one of the things to Sephiroth. Although they're going to get to jump something with the guide. I can't Tarfire because the voice. Gets me a counter. Yeah, but I have a cool... I'm committed here. You figure out a Foggy Swamp Visions deck. I had a draft that I wasn't that excited about, I guess. Probably the best card to see here, although the fact that this is a 5/5 and I can only deal 4 damage to it seems to be a problemo. So we're going to be taking... Oh, we're probably just dead, actually. No, I'm just dead. Okay, never mind. Game 3. Wasn't thinking about the Sephiroth damage. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. Swampy, Foggy Vision's kind of tough in a living in format. Although you can actually just take all the stuff from their graveyard, maybe. It's probably important to looting turn 1 so that I never expose the Nethergoyf to a discharge. It might instead be okay to just to let them turn 1 discharge. I think I'm going to looting. There's also just like getting this out of the hand before they can Bowmaster. So I'm going to set up for Goyf plus Pyroclasm next turn. Does Moonshadow fit into Yogg? Probably not. Moonshadow's aggro slash mid-range card. Yogg is just, I think it's mid-range combo, but I don't think they overlap very well. So we get a nice 2-for-1 on the Pyroclasm, and then get to go ahead on board really fast with the Goyf. Backup Pyroclasm is not too bad. Looting in the yards in case we get a little flooded. Four cards in their hand over there, notably no black mana. So if they have a fetch land, they can escape Flage next turn. I'm at 11, they're at 18. Not the worst top deck in the world, huh? Pretty painful to cycle the Wraith and Surgical. I'm gonna just draw steps. I could obviously like let them fetch instead, but I also they might just have their best play be a Flage this turn, and this is good against that. So they can play a Sephiroth this turn. They do have to fetch to do so. Oh, sorry. This would have grown the Goyf, so maybe it was just better to main phase then, huh? The bombardment does mean I'm kind of dead to top deck a Johnny, I guess. A Johnny plus the Sorin. Unless I draw something like a FOMO here. Okay. So now I'm just kind of not dead to that. So I could go looting, bin the Phoenix, bestow Phoenix. It seems like, well, going to 5, I'm just like a lot more likely to be dead. Right? So I think I should probably just bestow and put them to 2. And then not play the Blood Crypt. Although maybe play the Blood Crypt's fine also. Just so I can go looting into 1-drop next turn. Seems like a little bit unlikely to matter much. 1-1. Weird couple matches, as matches with Hollow One are often pretty weird. You know you gotta keep this one. I rarely make Construct Days of Church for Sagas like really good. Okay, it's not really good. It's fine that your Saga cantrips on turn 4, you know. Okay, up against Boros again. You know, and I'll say that since they printed Surveil lands, the fact that like your Saga being a grindy card, it's a lot less important because all of your fetch lands are now really grindy. And although what am I even doing? The Golgari Saga players will never change. Why am I even trying to rain on your parade? I formally apologize to all Golgari players. Keep doing you. Am I into emptiness? Reanimate Oculus, Manifest Dread, a Moonshadow. I'm not opposed. The thing is, I don't think it's that exciting overall. I guess like emptiness, Oculus or Moonshadow or whatever is like it doesn't necessarily seem to me to be like almost any different to unearthing it. It's going to be worse a lot of the time because it's 2 mana instead of 1, and then it's going to be better some amount of the time because it's more versatile. So, I think we both know that. I did put a Flage in their yard. Like we all know that elements of it, and so it's just like it's not very high on my to-do list, I suppose. But I'm open to getting around to it. So I think let's go ahead and just have this be a vigilant fear of missing out here. So hitting the cat didn't play very well around second and Johnny, although flipped FOMO usually can deal with Planeswalker or Johnny. And if they flipped the Johnny when we killed the cat, we could have killed it there. So if they jump the Guide of Souls, I mean, they could already Galvanic Discharge. Actually, I don't even know what they're doing here. I guess they're gonna go Ragavan, activated Johnny. I think I need to block. Yeah, Discharge doesn't make sense. Okay, it is Ragavan activated Johnny. It's fine, I guess. We get to keep the Phoenix. Let's go looting before we Ox of Agonas, I suppose. Okay, now we'll discard these two. I think we'll play the new FOMO before we play this Ox. And then I will attack. I guess we're actually just super dead to a land for the Flage, aren't we? They don't have it. They can escape second main phase. Pretty tough. Maybe they'll do something else winning to haste. I don't know if that is good or bad for me. They just play a Flage from hand, sure. They target me? Okay, so what's fun about this spot is I just have to try to combo kill with FOMO. The problem is I am very unlikely to because I only have 2 FOMOs left in the deck, and they're at 19. I don't even know if it's possible. But it's fun to try. Seems probably impossible. Never tell me the odds. I can get rid of a looting. Alright, game 2. This is game 1. We just played against Boros, so that's a little confusing. Oh, we're playing against Mardu, so against Boros, I don't know if we want to still cut the Inquiries. Cutting the Inquiries against the Flage deck also feels kind of good. I think I like this plan. Draw Tarfire, kill Phoenix, play Ox Hope. Hope that they just don't escape the Flage with the Arena of Glory. I'm a pretty optimistic guy. I don't think I'm that optimistic. Yeah, I can keep this on the play. Strixhaven preview season started. For some reason, there's double X blue sorcery. Let's target player draw 2 to the X cards. Okay, well, we'll think about Strixhaven spoilers later. I'm still in Lorwyn season. I don't know why they do the previews like this, like during, like, right when a set releases, but I'm not going to get sucked in. I guess I'll discard the surgical. Probably good to wait a turn just so I can block the Pride if they have a removal spell. I think there should be more graveyard hate in the sideboard. Flage is poison for this deck. I mean, how much graveyard hate do you want to board in against Flage? It's like you have really big diminishing returns because if you have I don't know, I feel like even the third copy of a third Graveyard Hate spell is a lot against them, right? So I made a good decision on the leaving back here. So if I play FOMO, I have to discard one of the hollow ones, which kind of stinks. I could also just go... yeah, it's probably just better to spend 2 mana on 2 hollow ones here. And then we can just FOMO draw a card next turn, probably. I'm not looking at preview cards. You can't make me. I'm in Lorwyn mode. You can't make me. How crazy is Edge of Autumn Professor Goyf Moonshadow? It's pretty crazy. This seems really unnecessary. Alright, so they can answer one of my hollow ones here. But not the other. Alright, game 3. Like, we're barely 1 week in. Opponents have a Mold 6 on the play. I probably need to keep this on the draw, despite being pretty weak to a Ragavan. We also have like a lot of good 1 mana cards we can top deck. Hollow One feels a bit antiquated to me these days. Just a lot of setup deck building for a free 4/4 compared to all the other nonsense we can do now. Well, there's a lot of other nonsense in the deck besides just a 3/4/4, for whatever that's worth. It's like the Burning Inquiries are also good with the Marauding Mako and Nethergoyf, and they're okay with Moonshadow. You don't die to Pyroclasm, do ya? In fact, I would even say it's not a lot of deck building. It's literally just we're playing Burning Inquiry and an otherwise like kind of normal Rakdos aggro shell, like just Inquiry and like we're supporting looting. So I'm glad we have a Surgical for Flage. We don't need... I guess we might just want a Surgical main phase to grow the Goyf and then get rid of this. So let's go Moonshadow, Goyf. I probably just want to surveil this. Let me see if I want to keep the Surgical in hand or not, actually. So they have it at Johnny's, which I think means I want to keep the Surgical in hand. They also might not know the surveil trick, so they might go like a Johnny purge the Goyf, attack with the voice, and then I can go fetch surveil, block the voice. Keep Clouds in hand, I assume. I mean, if their hand just literally had nothing, we probably wouldn't have. They drew discharge, so they do know about the trick. And they're holding the Ajani in the hand too. So that'll help me go FOMO plus Phoenix with Delirium still. So I can go escape. I might need to discard the Pyroclasm if I want to do this. Discarding Pyroclasm pretty rough when we know but that they have Johnny, I guess. So I go Fear of Missing Out and say discard the Looting. Or discard the Mire. Let's say Looting. I can exile a Phoenix, a Surgical, a Moonshadow, and a Tarfire. So if I discard Looting instead, I can leave Looting in the yard and still have Delirium. So why don't I Phoenix on the Shark this turn for a little bit of mana efficiency? Well, then I guess I can't block the voice, actually. Yeah, let's still go on the FOMO. X blue blue. Target player draws 2 to the X power cards. So 2 cards for 4 mana. 4 cards for 6 mana. It's not the worst rates. Are they going to attack with the voice? Okay, so we'll trade Shark for the voice, and then we have I guess the Pyroclasm has to kill my Phoenix. I can't not block. My life total is too low. Can I haste Phoenix on the Goyf? I'm gonna have to like lose my whole graveyard, so probably don't want to do that this turn. 14 mana kill a player. Easy. I guess we kind of just want to fill up the yard for the Moonshadow and the Goyf. Alright, so Goyf is a 5/6, Moonshadow's a 2/2. Another Johnny's pretty good. I draw a mountain. So I guess we go Phoenix on the Goyf, escaping Hollow One and Shark. So this makes the Goyf a 6/7. And if I could attack with both, but then I'm just dead to top deck Flage, but I'm not dead to top deck Flage if I just attack with this one. By my calculations. Nice looking hand. Let's keep on the draw to a new matchup. Maybe not energy this time. I've had about 2 feet of snow in the yard for 2 months. It piles up. Just living a completely different existence than us down here. It's nice to have snow, though. It's nice to have a little bit. Like our annual hunker down for 3 days. All right, they go underground, Undercity Sewers Breeding Pool. It might be Living End again. We lost a close game 3 to Living End in round 1. So they grab an Overgrown Tomb, but then they surveil with Hedge Maze. So let's definitely prioritize getting some creatures in the graveyard here. I think I am gonna play a second Shark. If they go Force of Negation and the Shardless Agent, it's not super ideal. They cycle a Wraith in response. They do have a Force of Negation. All right, we'll see if they have the Agent as well. What did they pitch? They pitched a Subtlety. And then they Deceit as a discard, which is actually just actively good for me. Maybe not actively good because I can't cycle the Shark anymore. But about as close as it gets. Yeah, they take the Shark. I grow both my Makos. They've got 3 cards in their hand. A lot of very good top decks here. Including this one. Maybe the best. We'll discard both Phoenixes, I think. Maybe discarding a Goyf is better, although I may be hasting a Goyf with the Phoenix this turn. So we've got 10 power in play right now. Looks like we can do a lethal attack. Oh, wow. Now we definitely can. Wait, this costs black mana? Oh, guys, look what the power and toughness of this Goyf is about to be. Shout out to all the 12-year-olds watching. This one's for you. All right, up a game against Living End feels good. Let's bring in the Surgicals and the Thoughtseizes. Cut the Tarfires. What was the other card I cut last time? I think of the 4th Phoenix. Definitely a weird matchup. So it's having the Wraith is really nice. I'm kind of sad that our really cool double Moonshadow draw. We're just playing against Living End, a matchup where creatures get kind of weird, but might just end up cycling the Hollow One to get it in the yard also. So draw 2, discard a card. Why is Kindred a type and Legendary Snow a super type? They all seem pretty similar in terms of functionality. Yeah, I don't have no idea. there may be a good reason for that, and if there is one, I don't know what it is. All right, I think drawing Thoughtseize, I'm going to try to get aggressive here. So I thought I was going to cast FOMO instead of the other Moonshadow, so we could have theoretically had this bigger, but I thought FOMO discarding Ox would have been pretty okay. Whoa, transformative sideboard with Abhorrent Oculus. I guess the second Oculus won't be all that helpful. But they can just cast the first one here. But they have to exile their graveyard. Interesting. I wonder if they cut the Living Ends if they bring in the Oculi. Is this a matchup where cutting the Living Ends makes sense? Maybe it is. The Menace and the Moonshadows against the Oculus is also pretty cool. Maybe I should have taken the second Oculus. I mean, it just won't be castable for a while. What would you have done, my sweet chatters? Did you technically see Living End or Charlotte Stage last game? I mean, no, but my opponent is playing. I saw Generous End. Not rocket science, right? So if we can surveil a permanent in the yard, we get to kill the Oculus here. They're Living End, like, for sure. But they may have transformed. Oh, no, dude. I guess we keep that on top. Pretty unlikely to hit a non-creature, but whatever. This Moonshadow's now 7 power. If we should be able to get Delirium next turn, and Delirium with 2 attacks will be pretty good here. They might still be playing Shardless Agent, just also boarded in the Oculi too. So Wistfulness to kill my fear of missing out. Oh, it gets exiled, so I don't get the counter on the Moonshadow. I wonder if we'll see no attacks, no blocks here. At least you didn't get totally burned by the old blockers rule. Yeah, I mean, the rules change. You don't need to really worry too much about it. All right, so this is a 7/7. Just thinking, should I Ox of Agonas this turn? I can go cast Hollow One for 1 mana, fetch, have 11 cards in the discard. Yeah, it seems fine. Wistfulness carrying free FOMO is kind of flavorful. That is true. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think leaving Wraith in the yard's pretty nice. So they do double block. They have another Oculus in their hand. They do have a Living End in the yard, so they didn't totally board out of it. So they have Formidable Speaker with 2 mana available. Now I'm not really a Formidable Speaker and Living End fan. I think that I think it's pretty slow. Could be wrong. It's definitely kind of reasonable, but I don't know how good it is yet. Maybe it just does give you enough versatility. Right now, their last card in hand is an Oculus, so they should be pretty dead to me going Phoenix on this Goyf. I guess they could block the Ox. So not for sure lethal yet. So 1, 2, and then maybe I just want to flashback flashback the looting. Yeah, let's just flashback the looting. We could find our other surgical living end. Oh, sorry, we haven't had a surgical. This is our first surgical. So now I guess I want to leave a Nethergoyf in my hand. Speaker is the nuts. I mean, I thought it looked really bad this turn. I don't know. We gotta start talking more reasonably about our magic cards, y'all. It's just the Golgari players are like, Urza Saga cycling for Mishra's Bauble is the nuts, and Forbidden Swinger is the nuts. I think you could say these cards are kind of reasonable. Maybe I would buy that. I think it's better to Surgical Living End than Oculus, by the way. Well, maybe that's not true. Maybe we're just doing fine against Living End. The thing is, we're also doing great against Oculus, so seems like a win-win to me. But saying the nuts used to mean something. Nuts used to mean something, damn it. That was half me making stuff nut, that's fair enough. Seems fine. Okay, so we've got a Phoenix in the yard. Maybe I just want to play a second Ox. Like a 1/1 second Ox. Attack here, make them block something. I have to lose my Phoenix, though. Oh, then they just did the free block here. Okay, I think I'm going to go Phoenix on Hollow One instead of Goyf. Because they just get a free block. Basically. On the Hollow One with the eye, and then they chump block the Ox, and then they take the Goyf damage if I bestow onto the Goyf. Now I make their blocks a little bit more tricky. They're going to just block here, probably go to 2, and then I can play 2 more lethal creatures for next turn. Do you have to flashback looting for this one to be lethal? All right, so we are 3-1. We beat Energy twice. We beat Living End once. We lost a tight game 3 to Living End. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. Be cool to play a different matchup, but like in this one. I would keep this if the theater was an untapped land. It happens to not be. Let's keep this. I'm kind of inclined to put back the theater. We have like 5 looks at the second land. We don't even need the second land. Seems like a good enough reason to me. Although maybe I want to cycle. Let's wait on the Wraiths because of Hollow One. We could cycle now because of Moonshadow. But we could also just draw the Moonshadow next turn, and it would have been better to hold anyways. Am I rocking Elves after this? I think yeah. I think I am. I haven't 100% decided. It's probably about time. Okay, great draw. These can both get Surveil lands, so I guess I'll discard the Swamp. Attack for 5. Also have a 4/4 that's probably going to be bigger than that next turn. I guess we might flashback looting, although it is our only sorcery in the yard at the moment. This matchup should be good, by the way. I think I'll cycle. Looks like they've got like a counterspell here. Nice that Moonshadow's feeling good in this list without Mishra's Bauble. I was a little bit worried about no Bauble, but it's still been feeling quite good. Obviously, we just have a lot of other enablers too. And We're attacking for 13 here on turn 3. They're down to 2 life points. Surveil the Phoenix in the yard is obviously nice. They Warping Whale. Notably, they could have used this to gain 6 life. Instead, they decided that they wanted the mana. What if we get Blast Zoned here? Nope. Alex, the 14 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So bring in a couple Charmaws. Also going to be bringing in a couple Thoughtseizes. I think I'm going to go down 1 Ox and then the Tarfires. Cutting Tarfire always does kind of stink a little bit because it's our only instant and our only kindred, so the size of our Goyf is kind of capped, but Goyf will still be pretty big. I don't think you need to worry about it too much. Selfless Spirit over Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is a hero. Is there just a better Selfless Spirit from the Spider-Man set? If I know that's what you're implying. Just let me know what it is, and I'll take a look at it. Also, over Spider-Man, there's literally 1,000 cards called Spider-Man. Okay, so this will be a 3/3. This will be Moonshadow will be minimum 3/3 next turn, maybe bigger. I guess Mako could be bigger too, but I think I'll lead on the Moonshadow. And then we probably don't need the Thoughtseize until turn 3. Spectacular Spider-Man. Can you link it? I just literally this is one annoying thing about the paper Spider-Man is that how does anyone keep up with all these cards? You know what? Actually I Thoughtseize this turn so I can save the looting for the hollow one actually. They have a Condescend. Okay, well, this costed mana to sacrifice. It's, I think, almost for sure worse. If you're going to Court of Calling for a protection card, for sure, almost for sure, this one's worse. Like, it's already cost you 5 to Convoke, and Wrath Disguise is so efficient, you just really need the cheap stuff. Okay, command my Moonshadow. They put a card on the bottom. Let's go for looting. Discard 1, 2... I think I want to spin the wheel. Maybe I should have played the Mire so I for sure have a land to play. Although I can't feel too bad about having Hollow 1 plus Hasty Goyf next turn and a 6/6 Shark. So they're at 12. Notably, I did Burning Inquiry away in Urza's Tower here. That feels really nice. I've got lethal next turn. They have a K command to exile my Shark and make 2 spawns. So maybe they're trying to Ugin me next turn. Not a lot I can do about that, I suppose. How Texas Tender Cold? Things are kind of fine over here. I'm not sure about other areas, I guess. I haven't really been looking much. But we've been fine. No power outages. Staying warm. Getting pretty bored. Been reading a lot. Alright, they Brain Surge into Tron, and then they Ugin me. So they probably target the Goyf. Maybe you should target Phoenix. They do target the Goyf. They go ahead and gain 3 life. I boarded out my Tarfires. I mean, I guess I'll play it out, but... yeah, thankfully Ted stayed safe. Wow, it's my #1 priority. Thanks, Mello. Does Vengevine not fit in the 60? So, you have to play, in my opinion, I've played a lot of Hollow 1. You have to play Blazing Rootwalla if you play Vengevine. I think that's a package of cards you can play. And I felt that with it's almost we're just playing Moonshadow Goyf over Blazing Rootwalla Vengevine. But I do not recommend playing Vengevine without Blazing Rootwalla. It's possible you could do something like cut Marco Sharko and cut Fear of Missing Out, although Fear of Missing Out is also really good with Vengevine too, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that either. It's a lot of brain surges they're playing. I feel like Stock Up is usually a card I like a little bit more for them. So I guess if I draw Phoenix and then I draw a land off of the FOMO, I could potentially win. All right, let's go to game 3. Would you accept a book rec? Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. I will try to remember this. I'll copy it here. But I'm gonna be pretty sucked into this Name of the Wind series for a little bit. It's been quite good. I think it's been the best book I've read in years. The pacing and the writing are both just excellent, and I've read like 400 pages in a week or something, which is, you know, maybe not as much as I should be reading, but it's more than I have been reading in a while. Well, this card's broken. Let's take it. Yeah, my friend loaned it to me and has been trying to get me to read it for probably a full year, and I just finally did. Yeah, he's been saying the third book is he's been waiting on the third book forever. They drew Dismember. I guess they might counter my looting with Warping Whale. Am I okay with that? Are they going to Disruptor Flute Dame Hollow One? That would be pretty crazy. So yeah, all these people who are like, welcome to waiting Purgatory. You're going to have to wait a long time for the third book. I've been a Berserk fan for like 15 years. I'm good, brother. I probably like 12 years. I've been a Berserk fan for like 12 years. I am used to waiting. I am used to waiting. All right, they named Moonshadow here. So we'll discard 1 Moonshadow, 2 Moonshadows. Or sorry, and not 2 Moonshadows, and Phoenix. To be fair, Name of the Wind came out in 07. When Berserk was, I think Berserk started in what, like 99? I might be like pretty off about that, but Berserk started in 99. The author tragically passed away like 3 years ago, and it's still going in the hands of his best friend, and it's still going so slow. But they can take all the time they need, of course. 95, yeah, something like that. So I could bestow a Phoenix. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Even though we're going to not have Delirium. Thoughts on Arena of Glory? I think that Arena is really awkward with all the black 1-drops. We have 4 Phoenixes to offer up a lot of haste to our creatures. So I don't think you need to play Arena. So what card did they hide here? They hid an Oblivion Stone. Cool. So we get to keep a Phoenix in play. Oh, sorry, it doesn't stay in play, obviously. Okay, so we'll play the Shark and then not bestow the Phoenix so that if we draw like another Shark or a Moonshadow, we have exactly 4 damage. They do have Academy Ruins Oblivion Stone lock. Wow, they really chose it. I guess I was Stone out first, makes sense. Can I get the Shark big enough? Probably not. Pretty cool to lose to Academy Ruins Oblivion Stone if that's what happens here. My opponent says lol. Is that because I discarded their Ugin or because they drew some really good stuff? I can't tell. Okay. All right, so 3-2. Definitely don't feel too bad losing to Tron, although it seemed like this matchup was good. Let's play Elves.